All right, what's going on, everyone? We have got the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, and we are at 1440p resolution. And right now we are just walking through this first section. Everything is completely maxed out. We do not have any ray tracing enabled, and we are at native resolution here. So everything's looking good. Really above 60 right here is kind of nice. We don't need to do any upscaling at the moment. It actually runs a good bit better once you get into the hotel, which is where most of the game takes place, is in these small tight corridors. The rain is really intensive. The NPCs everywhere is really intensive. So right here, you're getting kind of worst case scenario. Let's go ahead and skip this, and you're going to jump up a lot right here. So now you're in the 90s with, again, no upscaling, just no ray tracing at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of show you guys what you can expect once you get into the hotel. With no real help from DLSS at all, no frame generation, nothing. I'm going to jump in here and show you exactly the settings that I have working with you here. So we've got 1440p, of course. We'll come down here and go to these advanced settings. And right here, everything is just DLAA, no frame generation. Everything looks really nice here. So all this is completely pegged out and running really, really well. This game is exceptionally well optimized, and you can really tell they put some time into it to make sure that it wasn't going to turn into a blunder. That so many brand new hyped up games are falling into that trap. But yeah, we're looking really good here. 85, 90 FPS. Once we get into here, we might even get close to 100. And our PCL is really good too. Again, this is no ray tracing, but it's still a very viable setting. You don't need ray tracing in every single game. Let's turn on that flashlight. Let's keep on going. But yeah, it does add to the atmosphere to have ray tracing on. I just wanted to kind of go through it here for you guys. Very, very creepy. Very, very scary game. It's probably one of the best Resident Evils I've played in a long time. All right, so yeah, we are here. We're back into it about 84, 83 FPS. So I'm going to jump out and turn on that ray tracing. Just going to go to normal, and then we're going to see what we can expect from there. So I'll be right back. All right, so here we are at RT. Let's jump into here and see what our settings are currently at. So right here we have everything still set to 1440, which is kind of where this performs well at, I think. And you can, of course, go to 1080, but we're just going to stay on 1440 for this test. No frame generation, still DLAA native, so still right here looking really good. So again, this is one of the more challenging areas, is this like starting spot. So if you really wanted to make sure that you were absolutely over 60 all of the time, I would run just like this with maybe a quality upscale, and you'd be okay. So let's do that now. Let's jump in and just go to a quick quality upscale. Jump down here and go to that DLSS. All right, so we're going to go quality. All right, so this is a quality upscale, and that gives you right up to 71 FPS with that ray tracing set to normal. All right, so right here we are looking pretty good. Going to go ahead and head on into the hotel. I think it's going to be fine. It's going to run probably about 100 FPS in there, I would think. That's my guess, at least. Let's go ahead and trigger this cutscene right here. It's kind of like Groundhog Day running through these tests. But right here you're at 92 FPS, and everything looks super, super good. Very dreary, very, very sad game, which is what you want. It's very creepy. Yeah, so we have everything basically completely pegged with that first level of ray tracing set to normal. So once you get in here, it's probably going to be high 90s, which is what I would expect. But yeah, you're at 26 milliseconds of post-compute latency, which is extremely good. That's your overall system latency with a render latency of about 10 milliseconds. So for a game like this that's narrative, that's perfectly fine. There we are. We just saw 100. So once we get in here, we will be looking really good. All right, so let's kick our light on, and we are at 96 FPS with that first level on. All right, so we don't really need to do any more upscaling here. I'm just going to go ahead and kick it over to basically the next level of RT, and then we'll go to path tracing. So everything looks good with just a quality upscale here. Very, very nicely running title. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. 58 or so FPS in this area. Once you kick on that upscaling, just go through our settings real quick, kind of show you what I got going on here. Let's come down here, and we're going to get down to the quality upscale. So right here at quality, you are looking like 33, 34 milliseconds. So once we jump into that, additional area over there, once you start walking into the hotel and whatnot, you're going to get a nice bump, probably in the 80s would be my guess, which is, again, more than enough. Really, right here is more than enough for this title. You don't need, 120, 150 FPS for Resident Evil. But right here, you are looking really good. It's nice and smooth, and you're able to enjoy basically high ray tracing. Path tracing is going to be a little bit harder to run, but you shouldn't need that much more upscaling. The 5060 Ti is handling this just fine. Now make sure you get the 16 gig version, because as you can see, it's well over 8 gigs of even used. It's allocating over 12. All right, so this game does kind of like VRAM, depending on your settings, but especially once you start introducing some ray tracing. But yeah, we're at 74 over here, so once we get into the hotel, it should be around 80, would be my guess. So let's head on in there and see what we get. Head up here, go in here. I mean, you gotta be out of your mind to do stuff like this. I would not do this if I were her. Right here would be when I noped out. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. All right, yeah, so we're about 80 FPS here. Run through here, go through the kitchen again. Looking really good. All right, so next is basically path tracing. That's gonna be the heaviest hitter. So about 83 FPS right here is more than enough. Looks really good, feels great. So let's do that now, and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are with full path tracing on quality. It is much more intensive than ray tracing, even ray tracing high. So right here at 30 FPS, 1440 with quality upscaling. So let's just kind of get through here. Would assume that this is going to give us about a 45 FPS experience once we get into the hotel. That's just my guess. And at that point, we're going to look at the latency and see where we're at, see if we can do some frame generation at that point. But we might need to go a little bit further on our upscaling beyond quality. Probably performance would be the best visual trade-off. But, again, performance DLSS still looks really, really good. So let's go ahead and skip this and come on in here. So that gives us about a 43 FPS experience here, so not quite 45. PCL's right around 70, so I would be okay probably frame generating here because, again, you got to consider the game. It's not fast-paced, and that's, typically where I would frame generate would be around 50, which is kind of where we're at anyway. So let's come in here and do some frame gen. All right, let's hop down here, go down into it. I've gotten a little bit faster at this menu, thank goodness. But you got 2X, 3X, 4X. We're on a 50 series, so we're okay there. So that gives us a 67, 68, 70 FPS experience on quality with path tracing at 1440. So you are looking like really good. I mean, this game just runs so well. It's really just, it's setting a bar for what we need to expect with these new games. So 1440 here. 57 milliseconds, which is acceptable by a large margin on a game like this, with just a simple 2x frame gen. All right, so what I want to do now is just, this game is running well. I just want to see what it would take at these settings to go to 4K. I'm just out of all curiosity, really, is what I'm wanting to do here. So let's go to 4K. Let's leave that on. All right, so we're just going to see what the hit is on 4K. So that gives us about 40 FPS here. Now we are running frame gen still. So let's check it out without frame gen. I just want to kill that frame gen, get a nice baseline here before we move on. So we're going to go to frame gen off. Turn that off. Let's go to a performance setting. We're going to need it. All right, so what does performance give us? Let's give it about 5 or 10 seconds to sort itself out. Performance gives us 35 FPS here. All right, so it's pretty brutal. I mean, we are also in a small area. So maybe 4K is out of the question without frame gen, but you are around 50 milliseconds. So even with frame gen, it would still be okay. You've got 35 FPS here. So let's turn on some frame gen and just kind of see where we're at. I just want to make sure that we're covering 4K a little bit because the game runs so well. Now, you could also just come in here and pull some of these, huge settings out. But we're just going to keep it maxed, keep it a clean, experiment here. So this is 2X on performance. And that gives you 60 FPS and 66 milliseconds of PCL. Now out here it's going to dip under 60 a little bit, but I mean, big deal. You know, you're playing 4K on a 5060 Ti and it's running well. That's what's crazy. So right here we're at 56 FPS. Maybe we could go up a little bit more on our upscaling, and that would probably do it. You know, and I've played this. I mean, it looks really good on ultra performance, and you are at 90 FPS here in the outside section, and your PCL is under 50. So if I were playing 4K, I'd be pretty happy with this. I mean, yeah, you're frame generating, half these frames, but it's still keeping your latency in check. I mean, you're still about 50 milliseconds on your latency. So you can definitely go all the way to 4K. So let's jump to 1080 and just kind of make this kind of look at it like how probably most people would play this game with this hardware. Let's keep it all maxed out. Let's go back up to, let's turn off the frame gen. Let's go to a DLAA setting here. I just want to see what it kind of baseline operates at. So baseline path tracing at 1080, you're at about 35 FPS. So really some quality upscaling at 1080 would probably take care of it because your latency is around 51 milliseconds. So let's see here. Let's go to that next level here and see what we can expect. All right, so let's come in here. Let's go to quality, and I suspect it's going to be right around 60. Yeah, nice. Very nice. You could take this and throw some frame gen on top of it and be in a really good spot, because once you come into here, it's going to run a little bit better anyway, just because it's more enclosed. But yeah, path tracing, 33 milliseconds of PCL with 70 FPS on 1080. So you can come in here and maybe do a little do a little frame gen, and polish it right on up, and you'd be in a good spot. So let's go 2x there, and that gives you 100 FPS with 41 milliseconds of PCL. Wow. Really, really good. So, yeah, that's kind of been all the different resolutions here. This is how I would absolutely play it if I were on 1080p. But you can take it all the way up to 4K if you want to, depending on the level of upscaling you want to do. So, yeah, this is going to wrap it up. Please consider subscribing if you haven't. Join if you have the means. I will never keep anything locked behind a paywall. It's just a little way that you can support me if you want to. But if not, the best way to do anything is just support me by watching my videos. That's really all I'm asking you to do. So with all that said, everybody have a great evening. Welcome to Resident Evil Week, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.